Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back again with another video. This time around we're reviewing another film, and as you can see I got my Lakers hat on because my Lakers won the championship. Let's go Lakers. Bringing on that Lake show. Let's do it again next year. That's besides the point. This time around we're reviewing the film The Way Back, starring Ben Affleck, where this film tells the story of him struggling with an alcohol addiction while also trying to bring his once really good high school basketball team that when he played on, they were a playoff team, very good team, probably even won. They got to the state championship game. To then he's taken on this team as a coach that hasn't been in the playoffs since then. And so it's got that typical setup. Besides the head coach and what he's struggling with, it's got the typical setup of team struggling, bring in a town legend, see if he can change them up. You know, I mean, that's something that you hear about. Or they bring along this big, great prospect coach. And of course, in case you're wondering what other sports thing I'm wearing, obviously my Titans hoodie, tighten up. I mean, we've been playing great. 5-0, let's go. But when it comes to sports films, what's interesting about this one is it has layers to it. It has a setup that sounds typical. You know what I mean? Like, it has a setup where it sounds like, okay, you're kind of setting this up as something we've already seen before. But that's not exactly entirely the case. Because it follows players going to their homes and showing their lives. And certain sports films will do that. Certain ones. But what's interesting is it's not jumping around from character to character. It's jumping from it's showing these players because they're under the coach, and it's a story about the coach, and it's showing his journey, his struggle, while also trying to bring back up this team. It's two struggles. Technically, the story is about two simultaneous struggles. It's the coach's struggle as a person with addiction, combined with the struggle of trying to rebuild this, once great basketball team up to its potential. And so that's what he does. That's what he does. That's what he's struggling with throughout the film. It's two struggles, is what I like to call it. But what's so interesting about the film is I refuse to spoil and say why he's struggling with alcohol abuse. There is a reason, and I like that. It's not just, oh, hey, I partied one day when I was a teenager. I liked it, and one thing led to another. I continued to drink, spiraled out of control, and now I'm an addict. It's not very bland or lack of creativity there. There's a lot of heart there. There's a lot of emotion. When you learn and see why he drinks, his character drinks to the level that he drinks in that film, you're going to feel for that character. You're going to wish him the best. You're going to feel sorry for him. Also relate to him in a sense that if that happened to you, you'd probably try and do the same thing. You'd reach out to do something to be able to just trudge through life, just knowing, having that, trouble you, torment you, replaying your memory. But let's just get to the biggest positive of the film. Obviously, it's Ben Affleck in this role, and I know that a lot of people who know of Ben Affleck's personal life, what he was struggling with, or his own personal struggles, did tie into this film. What I mean by that is this film, directed by Gavin O'Connor, who also did The Accountant, which is another underrated film that I kind of appreciate, so this is what really led me on to check this out. Plus, it was Ben Affleck in this role, and I knew of Ben Affleck's own struggle in his personal life that he had been also struggling with alcohol addiction. So this was a very, a role that not only could, he perform, that he had an opportunity to work with the director he had worked with before, but also a story that he as a person knew the struggles and the problems that came from, alcohol addiction. And he knew that because he was battling it himself and has battled it, and hopefully we never have to see him battle it again, especially not ever to the extent that he was once battling it. But in this film, you can see just how perfect he is for this role because he's been through these things. He would know how to convey it because he's lived it, and that's the sad part. Maybe he hasn't lived it all to the full extent, and he hasn't lived everything that's happened to this character. He hasn't lived that, but he's lived the alcohol addiction. And that is one of the key components, the most key component to his character, Jack, in the film The Way Back. So, and he nails that perfectly, partially because he's been through that. So this film was kind of made for him. I don't think any actor would have been able to pull this off as well as he did. I think if any other actor had this role, it could have been a throwaway sports film. And what I mean by that is, it would have been a film that if you're into sports films, even without Ben Affleck, it would have been one of those where it would probably have its charming moments, but it would have just been one of those, yeah, it was okay. With Ben Affleck, he makes that film so gripping, emotional, and a journey. Because you know, as a person, he had also been through that. And plus, I'm a Ben Affleck fan. I like Ben Affleck. He's an amazing director too. He flies very under the radar. Argo is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal movie, and he directed that and starred in it. The guy can act. Okay, he was really good in Argo. I like his Batman. The problem with his Batman was it got absolutely butchered in Justice League. And the problem with BVS was it was having to jump between Batman and Superman. Those are two completely tonally, in terms of tone, tonally different characters. It's hard to just have those two and those two only from the Justice League in a film, and you're trying to have them both meet each other, and yet parts of it feel like it's another Man of Steel movie, and another part of it feels like it's a Batman movie. It's too much of a clash. Regardless, Zack Snyder tries to get it as much similar to Batman in terms of tone as he possibly can, but it's Superman. Zack Snyder knows Superman, so that's why that clash was there. But I still think Ben Affleck did a good job as his Batman, especially him being a grizzled, kind of over it, Dark Knight Returns style Batman. But Ben Affleck is a great actor. I like him a lot. I actually like him a lot in The Accountant as well. I can't wait for The Accountant 2. I know that's something that Ben Affleck really wants to do, that maybe even he would be willing to direct. I hope so, because after seeing Argo and hearing all the praise for some of his other projects he's directed, like The Town, which I still need to watch sometime, sit down and watch that film. I have seen certain scenes that look really, really good. So I'm very interested in seeing maybe if he will finally take those reins in and actually film that. That would be very interesting to watch and experience. But yeah, I enjoyed The Way Back. It definitely is well paced for sure. It's an emotional watch, especially for anybody who has been through anything about losing someone, or you're having your own inner demons. If you have an inner demon or an addiction or a struggle that you battle with, this film can get to you. And it's definitely a heavy-hitting film, but it works very well. I was drawn in from start to finish. It was very underrated, and I hate that it flew under the radar, and I know why it flew under the radar. Let's be completely honest here. The reason why this film flew under the radar is pretty self-explanatory. The reason this film flew under the radar was one reason and one reason only. The freaking pandemic. It hit, and things were starting to get shut down right as this film was coming out. So it didn't have any hope of making its money in the theater. So it's going to fly under the radar. So when this film gets nominated for awards, people are going to be like, what? This movie? Seriously? Just buy it. Watch it. Rent it. I rented it at a Redbox for like $2. And I almost bought it when I got my movie haul that I may or may not record a video for recently on it to Target. If I would have bought The Way Back, I was also going to buy an Annabelle movie collection, because that would have been the only way I could have got Annabelle Creation and Annabelle Comes Home, because I don't have either one of those. The only really two good Annabelle movies, even though Annabelle Creation is really the great one. But it would have been way too much money to spend, so I just dropped those two and just went on my way. Even The Way Back, but The Way Back is definitely a film I want to get. So I enjoyed The Way Back. It has a setup that makes you think it's going to go very stereotypical sports film, but it follows the coach, makes him a relatable guy, especially if you have any inner demons or struggles of your own. and Ben Affleck nails the performance that makes this film a step above the typical sports film. Definitely worth checking out if you're into those types of films. If I had to give this one a number, I'd give it... I feel like I give this number to films way too much, so I'm going to go a bit lower, even though I'd love to give it this number. I seem to give the number 8 or 8.5 too frequently to films, so I'm going to bump this down to a 7.5. It is very solid, very good, but I only recommend it to sports movie fans. If you're not a sports movie person, you may not really grasp a lot of it because you're going to be too distracted or too not drawn in by the opening, because the beginning, before you really start to get to know Jack's character and really see these emotional moments or intense moments or moments that hit you in the gut, you're going to be too pulled away to get to those moments, because it does have a bit of a typical sports film setup, but it gets better as the film goes on. And I think that was done on purpose. It was meant to surprise you, catch you off guard. So again, The Way Back, I give it a 7.5 for sports movie fans only, but it is a solid one. You guys will enjoy it. So, what did you think about The Way Back? If you haven't seen it, let me know in the comments if you want to know anything about it. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil the film for you guys. If you have seen it, let me know what you thought about it. And if you liked what you watched here, like and subscribe for more. I'm uploading a lot of videos for you guys when I record. I'm recording a bunch of videos just back to back to back. I'm going to be uploading them day after day after day. So you're going to be getting a lot of content from me in a short period of time, just to show my appreciation, especially because you guys have been helping me to grow my sub count when I wasn't even uploading any content. So I really, really appreciate that. So I'm going to really be working hard for you guys, because you guys deserve it after subscribing to me when I'm not even creating content. That's amazing. So all appreciation in the world to you guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one.